All right, for this week, you are going to want the big canvas. I know I don't normally tell you which canvas to use, but you're going to want the big one this week. You are then going to need white, black, primary yellow, and cadmium yellow medium. You're going to want both of those. You are going to want cadmium orange, Hooker's green, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and then I forgot to grab burnt umber. Which is this darker brown. Now we are going to do this vertical. You are going to want a pencil because you are going to want to find something circular to trace, like the bottom of a cup or a roll of tape. Part of this project you might also want a Sharpie. Completely up to you. I'm going to use the inside. That's bigger than I really want. Let me find a cup real quick. I'm going to use the bottom of a paint cup. It's about a 2-inch circle. I'm going to draw a circle for a moon in the top right corner. So nothing too drastic there. And I am going to paint using my blue and white only halfway down. So if you need to, you can use, we're going to kind of make 2 hills with a pathway, if that helps you determine how low you're going to go. You're going to start by painting a circle of white around your moon. So nothing in your moon yet. You're going to put kind of thick because you want to be able to blend it when we get to our blue. So don't spread it all out, but a white paint around the moon. Now I've kind of painted into my moon, but that's okay. It'll shrink a little bit. So now I'm going to use my ultramarine blue, and I'm going to keep painting in that circular motion around my moon, allowing that to blend. Now you can always go back in and add more white if you want to, completely up to you. I'm just gonna keep adding blue. I'm gonna wipe some of that white off my brush. Kind of like we did behind our birch tree, just a different color blue. And kind of keep just painting in that circular motion. It helps the glow of the moon. Now, as I get further out, I'm going to actually mix a little bit of black. I had some black on my paint tray. I'm going to mix a little bit of black out here. Ooh, that was a lot more black than I wanted. Get some more blue on there. Don't worry, you can always change it with more blue. And I am just going to put blue on my canvas, as well as a little bit more on my paint tray. And keep painting that in. So the black just kind of makes my blue a little bit darker, not much darker. And I have painted down past my lines a little bit. Not that big of a deal, because when I paint my green and brown, I'll cover that up a little bit more. But it's enough to kind of know where I wanted to start that. And I am going to go in with a slightly smaller brush with some more white. Kind of brighten that up. Give my moon more of a white underglow. Now, as you can tell, the size of my moon has changed a little bit. Once I let this dry and I paint in my moon, it can be whatever size I really want it to be. I'm just trying to blend some white out around it. Even in some of these darker spots, just to give my sky a little bit more dimension. And there is your sky. All right, so now using lots of water and white, we're gonna add some stars. Now I will tell you this part's gonna get a little messy, so you're gonna wanna do it somewhere that you're not gonna care that it's getting messy. I'm going to get my brush very wet and get a lot of water in my white on my paint tray. And I'm just going to hold it above and tap it. The further you are, the tinier your stars will be. The closer you are, the bigger they will be. I'm going to get my whole sky so that we have a starry night. Now with this, you don't have a lot of control, but the tapping instead of actually splattering is going to give you stars instead of a splatter. So I just did that for an example. Don't fling your brush like that. So the next thing you're gonna do is using Hooker's Green, which I already have some on my tray. You are going to paint your two hills. Make sure you leave a spot for your pathway. So I'm just going to there's my path. I'm gonna kind of paint up into that blue a little bit. I'm actually just gonna put paint right onto my board. You do what you feel comfortable with. I rather would put a chunk on my board and spread it out over scooping it out of my paint tray constantly. But if you are more comfortable with just putting little amounts in your paint tray and going back and forth, that is fine. There is no right or wrong way to put paint on your paint tray or on your canvas. Making sure you can see my whole board. So there's that side. Now I'm going to do this side, which my line is going to be right there. All right, so now I am going to take some burnt umber on my paint tray. And a little bit of medium yellow, so not the bright yellow. I just want to lighten up my brown a little bit before I paint my path because I want it more of a mud color. And so I'm going to stir that up. Didn't see a lot of change, but I'll see change once it's dry. I'm going to spread that out really, really good, and you can kind of see the yellowish undertones as I spread it out. And get it right up into that green. Try not to leave a white line. Same with right up here at that blue. If you get some green into your brown, don't worry about it. It'll blend right on in. I kind of like how that green and that brown blended right there. Gives it a nice muddy feel. All right, and I'm going to let that dry.